Started.
Right.
What is diversity to you? What do you think it means? You can read this if you want, but what is diversity to you?
I think it's not being afraid of like someone else being different than you, and like loving them for who they are. Because like everyone's different.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be okay with that.
Okay. Now look at the bags of candy I gave you. Do you see anything different about the bags of candy? They're all different colors and they are all separate kind of candy. You have the Hershey's dark chocolate, you have the Hershey, you have the Good Mr. Good bar, you got the crisp, and then you have the Jolly Ranchers. They're chewy awesomeness. I love those things. I'm so addicted to them. But as a group of people, we're all diverse, especially in this class in itself, not just because of where we're from, but because of who we are individually. We are a diverse group of people. And then, of course, I only have 2 slides because, you know, everybody knows. But what is diversity? And this is the textbook, the state of being diverse. It's a variety. We are always a variety of people because no one person is the same. Take, for instance, I'm going to do a little thing. Raise your hand if you've ever lost someone. Right? It's a pretty generic one. Raise your hand if you've ever been out of the country. Wow. I'm sorry. Well, you're all you're all so cool. Raise your hand if you were born outside of the state of Utah. Where were you born? Where were you born?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, even I was like, hey, come on. But,
California.
California? Morocco? But being diverse is what makes things so much more fun. Because you don't want the same person. You don't want like 10 of me. How fun could that be? That's a little ridiculous, right? A little ridiculous. But yeah, that's. I know it wasn't long, but there's not much you can really say about diversity that people don't really know, don't understand. But if you have questions, please ask.
If I were in that position, I would ask what's been an example of diversity and what did you learn from it in your life? If you don't mind, that would be.
Yeah, no. Does anybody want to share?
I'll go.
Okay.
Well, that was the only other place I've been aside from Utah is really California. And that's where I served my mission. And dude, I love Mexicans. They're so cool. Like, no, I'm just being honest. Like,
ditto.
Like I love them. They're just amazing. There's an entirely different culture, entirely different type of people. And like when I first come going, you know, I had some stereotypes like everyone does. Like, and some of them were true, but a lot of them were totally false. And like I just really grew to like get the more that I got to know them, the more I spent time with them, the more I loved them, and just like the way they did things. They were totally different than like white culture. And that's perfect. It's fine. Like I loved the diversity, and like when I got home, when I was at Walmart, I saw Mexicans and I just stereotyped. I saw people with darker skin. I just walked up and I started talking to them in Spanish because like I just missed it. And, like I just missed like the way they interact with people and like how loud they are and like. So basically, what I learned is like diversity is great, and like, and I wish I would have. Maybe I will sometime in my life, but have time to get to know a different. Like a culture aside from the Latino culture, even as well as I did, even just as well as I know my own culture, just to get to know them, how they think, and I appreciate the good that comes from that.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I had a best friend in junior high, and we were all invited to her quinceañera, and it blew my mind just because of how different it was. Like, oh my gosh, and her family was just adorable. They were like, oh, you want to dance? Let's dance, you know, like they're just fun people. But yeah, that was a good example of diversity.
In St. Louis,
I got to know this guy named AJ. He was a big African-American guy. And he loved us. We thought the world of him. And I think that's kind of the fun thing about diversity is it adds a spice into things that you're not like. He used to his friends and they were all just like him and stuff like that. And then you got a bunch of like white boys coming up from Utah and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just so much fun hanging out with him and seeing the difference in the way he does things, and for him seeing the difference in the way that we do things. And it was a blast.
I have a funny story tied to my diversity experience that I feel will bring enlightenment. Anyway, so I have talked about this before, but I've traveled a lot outside of the United States with my dad and his business. And one time, we went on this cruise. It was a Mediterranean cruise. Oh. And there was a moment on this cruise, this is the reason why I'm telling this story, where it prompted me to think about just diversity in people's lifestyles and the way they live their lives. And it's funny because me and my sister and many of our friends who are part of the company through their parents as well, we were in this dance area on the boat at like 1 in the morning, and we were going right through the Mediterranean Strait of Italy between the tip of the boot and the little island that it's kicking. So we're going through that, and the boat's just going slow, and we went out of the dance area to the top of the boat because there was an announcement made that, you know, between this time and this time you'll be able to see the active volcano that's flowing at night while we're passing through this strait. So we went out there to look at it and we couldn't find it, and this massive group of just drunk people out of their minds came roaring out of the door from the area that we were at and just laughing and going crazy, and they ended up picking up a massive table and like 3 lawn chairs and just chucking them off the boat. Like off the boat into the water, and we're just standing there watching them laughing, you know? And they were all just crazy and then laughing and then ran back in the door, and it was just like in a second it all happened and they were gone. And later that night I sat there and I was like, man, what is the story of those people's lives? Like, where are they from? Who are they? They are having an awesome time on this boat, drunk, chucking lawn furniture off the boat. But I don't know why, but I just started thinking about the diversity, you know, in the world and people's lifestyles and the things that they do that are entertaining to them, you know. And while that's something that I don't do in my life, that's something that they look forward to doing as a group with their friends, and it's just that diversity, and I enjoy that. I enjoy seeing the diversity in the world and seeing just people being themselves. It's fun. It's also crazy and can be dangerous.
It can be dangerous, yes.
But it's fun.
I know growing up, I don't know what brought us together as a group of friends, me and my friends, but this is the group of friends we had. There were 5 of us. Lily, Penna, me, Katie, and Mariette. Mariette was from a richer part of town. Daddy had a lot of money. Penna was Tongan. Lily was Latina. I came from middle class, and Katie came from a little bit lower class. But I don't know what brought us together as a group of friends, but through junior high and high school, you couldn't separate us. We were the most diverse people you would ever meet. You guys are all friends? How do you get along? Like, what? But we were all so integrated in each other's cultures and how we were raised that we just stuck together. And I just want to say not to be afraid of people who are different colors, people who come from a different region. You know, you can learn a lot from other people, especially in being in a group of diverse people.
Thank you.
Rob?
Yeah, I was just going to add one last thing. There's so much to learn from so many different cultures. I learned in my life the importance of family more from other cultures than from my own. I mean, it's very important in my religion and different things like that, the importance of the family, but I never really saw it until I met with other cultures and saw that you didn't leave your family. When you got married, you built on top of the house. Or you built a side of the house. Like that's what the culture was, because family was so important. That's just how it happened.
That's actually, I have something to add to that too, because my fiance, he moved into my house with his girls, and we live with my brother, and I was like, does it bother you that my brother's our roommate? And he's like, no. When I lived in Jersey, we lived with my grandma, my uncle, my brothers. You know, we lived with everybody in our family in this little area, like my mom, and I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, where I'm from, family's everything, and he's Puerto Rican. So he's come from that background where living with family is completely normal. Like his two brothers live in Colorado and they own a house together.
It's just what you do.
It's cool.
And I hung out with my family last night, and like my sister and I, she has like 3 daughters, but she's crazy. Like, she and I got into a wrestling match, and like we were just like going at it, and like I don't know, it was just so much fun. Like I'd forgotten like how great it is just to be with your siblings, just to be with your family, just to mess around, like just throwing in my 2 cents there on that. That was great.
I want to point out something that happened there. Amber had prepared something. Go ahead, you're good.
Okay.
You're good. Just getting some water. Amber had prepared something, and it might have been a little shorter than even she had anticipated. And that's okay. But what happened as a result, I mean, all that we have to do is ask a question and get people talking. I mean, what happened as a result of just the one question that was asked, and so what can we learn from that? And you might be in a situation where people may not be as willing to share as all of us are, but a topic such as this, where people would get passionate about. You could see the passion as they were talking about their experiences. And so I'd encourage you to, if you ever get stuck and you're facilitating,